I plan on making a real-world use review of the GH6 in a future video. But for now, after some time using the GH6, I want to give you some tips or things you might not know about the GH6. Let's talk about it. If you're new here, I'm Sebastian and welcome to the channel. If you're used to something like a G9, you know that when you press the ISO button, you get the option in the top right corner to set your ISO limit. On the GH6, it doesn't seem to be there. But in fact, it is. But you have to turn it on in the menu. To set this, go to the cog or custom menu, operation, and then ISO displayed setting. Here you can pick different options for the front and rear dials. Two of those options will show the ISO limit when you press the button. Do you sometimes want to know the exposure level of a particular part of your image? For example, a particular part of someone's face? Well, the GH6 has an awesome tool for that. It's the luminance spot meter. This tool allows you to pick a spot in your image by dragging the little box around, and it'll tell you the exposure level, either in stops when you're using Vlog or in percentage IRE when you're using a Rec 709 profile, such as the natural profile. I have this mapped to one of the custom buttons. You can find this tool by going to the cog or custom menu, monitor display photo, and here you'll find luminance spot meter and you can turn it on. Sometimes I find it very annoying when I press the quick menu button and I want to pick a different color profile that I have to scroll through all the profiles that I hardly ever use to get to the right one. Luckily, on the GH6 there is a way to get rid of the ones you don't need. The way to do this is by going to the custom menu, and then the very first menu option is photo style settings. Here you can show or hide the color profiles you want or don't want. I have a similar annoyance with the number of frame rate and resolution options in the quick menu. I don't use all of them, but there is a similar solution for this as well. If you go to the film camera icon, under the film icon, you'll find Rec Quality. This is where you pick and choose the resolution and frame rate you want. But if you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see that it says Add to List. If you tap this, that resolution and frame rate will be added to the My list, which can be found by going one step back in the menu, and then the menu underneath is the Rec Quality My List. This is the list that will now appear in the quick menu, so you don't have to scroll through all the options every time. Having a level indicator on your camera is a very useful tool to check whether you're holding your camera level or not. On my G9 I have this mapped to a custom button, but on the GH6 by default it is mapped to the back or trash can button. Now I came across this by accident because I hadn't thought of the trash can button being also a custom button. But I hit it by accident and then the level indicator appeared. I think it's a very convenient place to have a button for a level indicator. The Lumix cameras that have the option to shoot in Vlog or Vlog L have the Vlog View Assist menu. This, when you turn this on, it basically applies a .vlt LUT over your image so you can see how the final image might look like. With the GH6 we can now load whatever LUT we want onto the camera. And it doesn't have to be a .vlt LUT like on the GH5 and the G9. It can be a .cube LUT. This means that you can now either create your own LUT or get your favorite looking LUT and load it onto the GH6 as a viewing LUT. To do this, create or find your favorite LUT, put it on the root level of your SD card or CF Express card, go to the custom menu to monitor display video and then Vlog View Assist. Here you choose Read LUT File and it'll ask you to which slot you want to save it. Pick one and you're good to go. You can now select that LUT from the list. For this example, I'm loading the nicest 709 LUT from Panasonic's free LUT pack. There's a link in the description. In this menu, you can also select whether you want to have the LUT sent out over HDMI or not. With some lights, especially cheaper LED lights, you can have flickering in the image. Very annoying when you don't have control over the lighting, and it can make your footage unusable. But this is where Synco Scan on the GH6 can be helpful. It's basically a fancy name for an option to be able to change your shutter angle by smaller increments. 1 degree increments to be exact, instead of the 15 or 30 degrees increments when Synco Scan is off. Adjusting the sun is behind a cloud and I don't want to change the exposure on the camera. Okay, there we go again. Adjusting the shutter angle by a small amount can help reduce flickering in your image without losing the effect that, for example, a 180 degree shutter angle has on the motion blur in your footage. It will come back. In fact, I can show you. And we're back. You can find Synco Scan by going to the film camera icon and then the first menu under image quality, it says Synco Scan and you can turn it on. Now you can adjust the shutter angle by 1 degree increments. I hope these tips were helpful. If so, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel and maybe hit that notification bell. And I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.